All right, this is my daily update for my build in public log. It's February 3rd, 2025. This will be a pretty short and sweet update. I don't have much more to say because I took yesterday off. I really needed to. I needed a day off. I don't take many days off these days, so. But I did make some progress today on continuing forward with building a queuing service. So I'm kind of not exactly rolling my own, but you kind of have to do a lot of manual work when you use BullMQ, which is what I'm using to be able to handle gracefully a lot of requests. So let's say a lot of people are making calls to run agents. You got to organize that in a sane way using a queue. You need an orchestrator to not just destroy your computer. So, adds it to a queue and one by one processes all the requests. And you could do a lot of stuff like, make gracefully handling errors where you're trying. You can do prioritization. So certain ones will take priority. I'm working through that, and I did get some of that working. There's more work to be done after this video. So I did some really basic load testing. I kind of just got it kind of working. Did some load testing to throw a bunch of requests at it. And I was playing around with like the settings, like how much should you have it try to process at once. So concurrency. And it was so fast. It was way faster than trigger.dev, which is what I was trying to use. And that was running on a beefy dedicated server that there's nothing really going on that server. And this is running on my MacBook, so kind of makes sense. My MacBook is more powerful than that server, if I'm being really honest. But yeah, it was fast. I actually ran into I got rate limited by OpenAI, so I'm using OpenAI for the model for that agent that I was testing. So, basically I simulated a bunch of users making a request to the same API endpoint to run an agent. An agent runs in the background, and then it makes a call to ChatGPT, comes back, returns the data to a polling endpoint. If you were to pull that endpoint, I talked about this a lot in the last few videos, but yeah, it held up well. But I got rate limited by OpenAI, so I thought that was funny. I actually added some money, and I just got bumped up to their tier. They have like a tiering system where the more money you spend, the more you're gonna move up in the tier, and you get for example, O3, their latest model drop. You can't even use that, the API, unless you're on a higher tier. That's all I've managed to get done. A lot more work to be done on this all. That's what I'll be working on the next couple days. And that's my update for today. Now, I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to jump into answering people's questions and comments. So I'm going to start doing this the more I get actual feedback and questions and comments. So, and then at the end, I'll do my random story for the day. So let's go through this. Do you have Twitter or LinkedIn? Yep. It's my name. So I need to get better at actually posting on Twitter. I am working on something for that, actually. Please explain with visuals. Yep, I try to. Sometimes I don't have a lot to say for the day. So, have you had a chance to take a look at Galaxy AI? No idea what Galaxy AI is. From my perspective, the approach of having a voice assistant on your phone and asking it directly to create appointments has less friction than an agent scheduler has to offer. If your product offers more, then be sure to let me know what it puts on the table. Been looking at your progress for a week now. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so uh, that is the plan. I am going to do that actually as soon as I'm done with this. So the plan is to build two services in parallel. I will have a agent runner. So there's like an actual API service that I build agents and put them in there, and then you could programmatically call it and run the agent for whatever product you want to drop that into, and have agents run and then get the response and do something with. So I am actually going to build that, what you just said. But a part of that is how does the back end, how is it going to schedule the thing? It needs to like have some kind of data format, data structure to just actually schedule an event, and iCal and such formats are how a lot of services use. That's the data structure they use. So if you want to add something to your calendar, a lot of services need like an iCal basically. So that's what that's creating. So my product that will be like a AI virtual assistant will call this product to build the actual events and then add it to your calendar or do whatever. So these things will be abstracted, and this is agents that people will programmatically use to abstract away and hide kind of from the user. I'll have to look into Galaxy AI. Never heard of it, but there's so many tools coming out every day. It's hard to keep track of. All right, cool. Thank you so much for the comments and support. Please keep it up. And let me know how I can help you, or what should I talk about? What should I explain? What should I show? Some people want visuals. Actually, so I do want to start just a basic site. So if somebody wants to like follow with RSS, newsletter, have like let's say you don't want to always be looking at YouTube, I'm going to have other options, Twitter as well. So more to come on all of that. All right, so on to my random story for today. This is a really random one. All right, so it's fun, kind of funny. Yesterday, by chance, like I randomly saw a picture, and super made me remember this and think of this. I was talking to my family about this. I was like, do you remember this when we were kids? This super reminds me of it. I'll show a picture of it in a second. When I was a kid, so I'm a 90s kid. I'm an old guy. I'm a 90s kid. We got dragged to the mall a lot. Malls were a much bigger deal in the 90s, early 2000s. Back in the 80s, before my time, the mall was like in America. I'm from California. Malls were a huge deal in the 80s. So think about it like your parents, people my age, your parents went to the mall a lot. And so they took you naturally as a kid to the mall. Actually, my parents met at a mall, like not too far from here. I'm in my hometown, hanging out with the family for a while until I get the business going. The mall kind of exists, but it's like shuttered and, weird. It's like a kind of abandoned and shuttered because it's an old mall. A lot of old malls are gone and have been converted or destroyed. So my parents met at a mall. Like going to the mall back in the 80s was a big deal. And so in the 90s, as a 90s kid, they took you to the mall all the time because it's just, that was the thing to do. And I remember every time I'd go to the mall, I would stop at like this place was like a big deal. And this was like in all the malls back in the day. And every time I'd go, I'd eat this one cookie. And I saw a picture that looked just like this damn cookie. Here's what this damn cookie I'd always get. And I saw a picture that looked just like this yesterday. Made me think of this. It made me remember, God damn, that reminds me of going to the mall when I was a kid. So, yeah, it looks like shit, of course. Probably not healthy. Look at this thing. It's like pure sugar and crap. But yes, I would, every time I'd go to the mall, we'd stop at that little booth. It's like what I showed you. It was like like not a full restaurant, but it was like this, like kind of a window and like a register and someone making cookies. And I would always get one of these cookies. Man, it really hit me in the nostalgia like memory, like, oh yeah, God, remember eating one of this? This cookie, that flavor of eating this cookie, this reminds me of being at the mall, like as a kid, because I'd always want this goddamn cookie. Apparently, this place closed down years ago, like this chain. It just kind of struggled, but yeah. So it just made me think of this, seeing this picture. I don't eat sugar now. Like I'm like kind of anti-sugar. Sugar just doesn't sit well with me. So I don't eat stuff like this. Like I can't. Like it just destroys me eating sugar. Uh, but I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind eating one just for like nostalgia, old time sake. It has a very distinctive flavor. Like to me, that tastes like the mall. Um, so, anyways, a random trip down memory lane. Apparently, you can make it yourself. There's all these like recipes to try and make it. Yeah, look like this. This is kind of. That's a little old school. Looked a little bit more modern. But anyways, that's all I got. Have a good day.